Alright, so the theme for this deck is Mirror Force and Mirror Force cards. With the new Mirror Force launcher, I wanted to try to build something that just had a whole bunch of Mirror Forces in it. And I thought, hey, if I use Wall of Thorns and Justy Break, and I just use like normal plant-type monsters, I have more Mirror Forces. But I should warn you, I don't use either of those cards one time. They just never showed up, or if they did, I never got to use them. But I still won a lot of games anyway. Okay, final thoughts for this deck. Like I said at the beginning, don't think I ever actually used Wall of Thorns or Jesty Break, even in games that I lost, in which, because, I playtest these decks a lot, and I only show the best replays. It's a very selective thing. This is why I try to go out of my way to tell people a lot of these decks are not good, and they lose a lot, and you're only seeing, like, the best of the best replays, the ones that did really well. And yeah, so with this deck, I originally had a lot more just regular Mirror Force cards in it, and then Mirror Force Launcher came out while, like, after I built it. Because what I do is I'll build a bunch of decks if I get a good idea, and then I'll just sit on it for a few weeks or something because I'm busy and I don't have much time to play. Well, it's not that I don't have as much time to play Yu-Gi-Oh! Anymore. It's just I used to overwork myself like crazy, so I reduced my workload. And with my reduced workload, I don't have as much time to do Yu-Gi-Oh! Anymore. Because technically Yu-Gi-Oh! Is just something I do for fun on the side, but it is also kind of a stressful activity because I'm trying to get good duels. Like, it's not high stress. I would count it as like a very low stress thing, but stress nonetheless. It is more stressful than doing something a little bit less frustrating, like trying to get gimmicky decks to work. So, because I need to do less work and, relax myself because I have like a stress condition, I've been doing less Yu-Gi-Oh! Videos. And that's why I sat on this deck for such a long time before Mirror Force came out, because I just haven't been able to play test as much as I used to. Because I use my free time for other things now. But I still do allocate some time to Yu-Gi-Oh! It is like second in priority. And this has nothing to do with the deck. This is just, stuff that doesn't have to do with the channel. I mean, it has to do with the channel and not actual deck itself. So, actual deck itself. I played basically Angel Trumpeter. That was like my only plant type monster. And he can activate both Jesty Break and Wall of Thorns, which I never actually used. But also, since I was using normal monsters anyway, I was like, Phantasm Spirals, obviously. Phantasm Spiral Battle, because it's such a really good card to use with normal monsters. And the field spell just gives you some really nice tokens to use as well. Very good. And yes, that worked out very well. Also, Fang of Critias. Every time I brought out Mirror Force Dragon, I won. Because he's so good. You can't get rid of him without a kaiju. You can't target him or attack anything. Otherwise, you'll lose all your cards. Unless you, negate his effect, of course. But I found a lot of people are playing less trap cards now. So it's not as prevalent as it used to be. A lot of people are playing more hand traps than anything, and his effect can't be stopped by a hand trap. So unless I have a kaiju in hand, it's basically like a game over, but that's just kind of how Yu-Gi-Oh! Is. I build my decks based on who I'm going to be playing in Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro. If I were to build this deck to go play at an event, like a locals or, a tournament, it would be built way differently. I should also probably mention that as well. Whenever I build these decks, I build them based on what I'm going to be going against in Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro, which are pretty random decks most of the time, which is great. Great for me, because I don't want to be playing against super meta decks every single time. Otherwise, I would just instantly lose every time. So what I'm saying is those kinds of decks that I play against can't really deal with Mirror Force Dragon, and that's good news for me.